Hello again, Internet. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. It has been a while since we have had land in this southeastern New Mexico county, but we are finally back in Chaves County with a new property today that I think you guys are really going to like. As you can see from the headline, it's got a lot of enviable features. It's a partially fenced lot. It's got the power, the paved road access. It's got the underground utilities. What is not mentioned there, however, is that this property has no recorded covenants and restrictions, and there's no HOA and no annual dues. There are some zoning issues we want to make you guys aware of. Those, however, will be discussed later in this video. Until such time, guys, let's get to introing the property. This is reference number CVNM-3849, located as noted in Chaves County in the southeastern portion of the state. This property is a scooch under 5 acres, 4.62 to be exact, and as you saw up top, this roughly 5-acre property is priced at $28,000. For the record, guys, $28,000 for 5 acres is pretty good on a price per acre basis. Of course, $28,000 is a lot of money, but you will find that land in this portion of the state tends to be priced more expensively than other parts of the state, most likely because of accessibility of water. Whatever the case, let's pull it up on a map, show you guys exactly where this is. As with all of our listings, we've got GPS coordinates down here, 4 corner points and a center. Click any one of them, and voila, Google Maps shall appear. All right, guys, so first off, we always like to acclimate our buyers as to where a property is within the state. A lot of times we'll get calls and questions. How close is this to Albuquerque? The answer, not very close. Here's the subject property down here, the pin in the map. Here's Albuquerque up here. Just to give you guys a sense, if we right-click and measure distance, you will see that we are roughly 180 miles or 3 hours away as the crow flies. We, however, are not crows. We are people, and we drive cars. And those cars will take about 240 miles or 4+ hours to get back and forth between the two. Fortunately, guys, this is New Mexico, and there is more than just Albuquerque out here. Specifically, as we zoom in on the subject property, you can see that it sits equidistant between Roswell up here, 20 minutes to the north, and Artesia down here, 20 minutes to the south. Should be noted, guys, that Artesia is home to about 13,000 people. It's got big box stores like a Walmart Supercenter, grocery stores, things like that. So easy access to groceries and supplies down here to the south. That being said, your neighbor to the north might be the better bet if you are looking to, well, do many things, let's say. Anyway, guys, we got some photos here of Roswell. Roswell, of course, has got about 47,000 people. Then we've got a Walmart Supercenter. They've got Home Depot, a Lowe's. So if you buy the property, you start building out there, you're probably going to end up out in Roswell. Additionally, of course, you've got a major hospital and university out there, airport, schools, churches, medical facilities, so on and so forth. So anything that you want or need, you're likely going to find in nearby Roswell. Roswell, of course, historically is home to the first sighting, quote unquote, the first sighting of aliens in the world or America. I'm not entirely certain. But the history, of course, you will be reminded of at every turn out there because they have these cool alien statues pretty much everywhere you go. Anyway, guys, it should be noted that the subject property is also pretty close to Hagerman and Lake Arthur, 2 small towns with some mom-and-pop grocery and supply stores, which might be good for some, quick supply runs. Anyway, subject property sits right here, roughly about 5 miles east of the 285. 285, of course, is a major highway that'll get you back and forth to those aforementioned cities and other places. As we zoom in on the map, finally, we will see that the subject property sits here right off of Choctaw Road. This, of course, is a paved road, as we noted in the headline. Just want to point out to you guys, there is no kind of plat overlay here on Google Maps to give you a sense of the footprint of the property. So I'm going to direct your attention back here to the photo gallery. Normally, we like to supply plat maps for you guys with these properties. That being said, the plat map we got back from Chaves County was something with, let's just say, it would have provided no additional insights than what I have for you here with the Google map, the Google Earth overlay of the size, shape, location of the property. The plat map was roughly just some squares on a piece of paper. It was not incredibly detailed. Whatever the case, this is a pretty accurate representation of the land itself. Anywho, back to this thing for a second. So, subject property sitting right here off of Choctaw Road, paved road. This is the lot itself right here. As noted in the headline, fencing along the northern boundary, fencing along the western boundary, no fencing along the eastern boundary. There are, however, some stakes here because there is a utility easement, which I will show you in mere moments. Let's go to the photo gallery, guys. So, down here we have some pictures of some homes that are in nearby close proximity to the subject property. You can see exactly what some of your neighbors' homes are like. And then finally we get to the land itself. This is Choctaw. This is the paved road. As you can see, power running up and down this road, and you can see power off here in the distance, servicing some nearby home sites. Additionally, as we go through this, this is the power running along the eastern end of the property. This is what I meant when I was talking about an eastern sort of utility easement on the land. So, for instance, just to give you a sense, fencing here, utility easement here, it's going to be pretty well dictated where exactly this lot starts and ends at. So likely you will not require a survey with the property unless you want to be really thorough about it, unless you want to spend the $1,000 or $2,000. You won't likely need that. The boundaries of the land are pretty well dictated for you. Anyway, as you can see, underground utilities servicing this region, a lot of home sites out here. If you look at the map, again, you'll see that there's a lot of development out here, or at least, you know, it's not typical kind of rural New Mexico. There's a lot of home sites in this region, some agribusinesses out here, some small family farms, etc. So, of course, everybody has high-speed internet, cable, etc. Anyway, and then as we go through the photos, of course, you can see that this is a nice flat piece of land, easy to build on, easy to park on, not too much landscaping required. Just come in here, clear out some brush, and you can pretty much start building the home site that you desire. Additionally, guys, as we go through the photos, we will also see it's coming up, I swear, the aforementioned fencing. There it is. This is what the fencing on the northern portion of the property looks like. And this is what the fencing on the western portion of the property looks like. So some kind of barbed wire here along the western end, a little more formal fencing on the northern end. Anyway, next thing I want to point out to you guys is that existing here on the property is what used to be the foundation of a home site. You can kind of see it here on the Google Earth imagery, Google Maps imagery right here. Previous owners know nothing about this. They say that it predates them. Whatever the case, it's obviously some kind of structure that burned down at some point. As is the case with all the properties we buy here at Hemingway Land, we buy them as is, we sell them as is. For some buyers, I don't know why, but for some buyers, this kind of thing is a turn on. People like to find this kind of thing on the property. Maybe you're one of those people, maybe you're not. Whatever the case, it's included with the sale of the land. So if you do buy the property, you're going to find this when you get out there, and it'll be yours to deal with in whichever way you choose. Additionally, guys, I also want to show you that on the land are these things. Jutting out of the ground are some pipes. Now, what I want to communicate to anybody who's viewing this video, who's looking at these photos, is that my knowledge of these pipes is that they add no additional value to this land. Okay, so let's be clear about this. These pipes are not hooked up to any sort of well, working or non-working. They're not hooked up to any sort of septic system, working or non-working. They're pipes sticking out of the ground. I am told from experts, quote experts, that they are plumbing ventilation pipes, likely not dug any more than a few feet deep, and they had previously serviced whatever that structure was. They no longer serve any purpose, and as noted, they add no additional value. Now, quick thing, guys, maybe you know a lot more about pipes than I do. It's almost guaranteed, okay? And maybe you're looking at this saying, oh my God, these pipes are incredibly valuable. What's he talking about? That might be the case. If that's the case, congratulations, you're getting the property at a discount or for more than I should be pricing it for. That being said, I know so little about these, and I've been told they're basically of little value, that I just want to make that clear in the video. I just want to make it clear that they're on the property and they will be yours to deal with should you elect to purchase it. All right. As we go through the rest of the photos, I just want to make you guys aware that, as noted earlier, by the way, fencing, as noted earlier, no recorded covenants or restrictions with the land. This is not part of a formal subdivision. So what that means is there will be no deed restrictions, no real sort of building limitations or anything that you'll have to abide by as if there were a formal, let's say, property owners or homeowners association out there. So you won't have to worry about that. And of course, with that not existing, there will be no annual dues out here for the property beyond the annual taxes, which are negligible, under $100 annually. So that's another one of the nice benefits of the property. Anyway, guys, finally, as we get through the photo gallery here, let me just kind of zip ahead. Some of the final photos that we have here of the land are the overhead drone shots, which again will reiterate with the overlays here, the size, shape, location of the property. And of course, they help to kind of reiterate the fencing that we were just discussing here along the western boundary, along the northern boundary. They kind of show you where that foundation of that burnt out structure is. You can see the kind of pipe sticking out of the ground here, and you can see the aforementioned utility easement here along the eastern end of the property, all of which I was discussing earlier. So I'll let you guys kind of peruse that on your own time. There will be a drone video up down here as well to help give you a better sense of the property, the terrain, the surroundings, so on and so forth. Now, with all that said, as noted, no covenants, no restrictions. There is, however, zoning out here. I originally thought that this was sort of unincorporated, quote unquote, an unincorporated area. That's kind of what it looks like to me. We call the county defined this as AR, or agricultural residential. And this little bullet point up here, these two bullet points kind of talk about what that means. So single family residences are acceptable here, as well as the raising of livestock. Chaves County Planning and Zoning did confess that the property is farther removed from Roswell, so ordinances tend to be more relaxed, which says to me it means that they're unenforced. Now, just a quick thing about unenforced. If you bring up the map here, if you're really curious, if you go out to look at the property, drive around the neighborhood, and the best way to get a sense of what you can and cannot do is just kind of look at what the neighbors are doing, okay? If you can't get out to see the property, take the little man here on Google Maps and just kind of drop him in different places and look at what the home sites are like that are built out here. And you could get a sense of, how, just what the neighborhood's like. Here's that home that we showed you a picture of earlier, but here's another one. Give you a sense of what's built out there. Some of these lots, they've got some nice homes. Some of them, they have kind of, it looks like collections of cars or trash or something like that. There's a few down here. Let me see. If I show you this one, you can kind of see right here. This trailer looks like it's seen better days. It looks like you can live out of a trailer, a mobile home, maybe if you've got a permanent foundation, or if it's kind of fenced off here at the bottom. Point is, there are some nice lots, there's some less than nice lots that you will find out here. It gives me a sense that planning and zoning probably isn't enforcing all that much out here. The one stipulation that they did make, the one thing that they said that they absolutely forbid, is RV usage we have as far as a dwelling, as far as using an RV as a dwelling. So this bullet point kind of addresses that. You'll find large farms, agricultural businesses, quaint single-family homes, as well as mobile and modular homes. Per the county, RV living is acceptable here, but only up to 2 weeks, or with a building permit. In short, it is the one sort of dwelling that they seemingly explicitly forbid as a permanent residence. So just an FYI. Now, my guess is nobody's buying a $28,000 property to park an RV on and camp on, but in case you are that person, it's per the county not going to be allowed for more than 2 weeks. Now, quick thing, guys. As noted, defined as AR, normally when we give you guys a zoning designation, we like to provide an excerpt from the county zoning ordinance. If you click on these links and bring up the county zoning ordinance, you're going to see a roughly 200, 300 page document, something like that. This zoning map will even give you a better sense of this. The county zoning ordinance goes into a great deal of detail when it comes to Roswell, when it comes to all of the area in Roswell proper. It ends here. This property is about 20 minutes south of here, and it's very difficult to find anything enumerated in the zoning ordinance, all 300 pages of it, that defines better what AR, agricultural residential, really means. Okay, so if you have specific plans beyond building a single-family residence, and you want to ask questions about that, it's best to call Chaves County Planning and Zoning. And fortunately, we have their contact information up here. We have their website. We encourage you guys, if you're going to spend this kind of money, it's best that you know what you're getting into in advance. So if there are some kind of ticky-tack zoning laws or just permits that you need to be aware of, call and talk to them in advance. Finally, guys, just a couple things to point out to you. Number one, in regards to utilities, utility companies servicing this region, Central Valley Electric Co-op. Click this link. It will take you to their website. If you do have questions about getting power hooked up to an eventual home site on the property, they would be the best people to talk to. And finally, down here, we also have the Office of the New Mexico State Engineer. This is the office in New Mexico responsible for all water rights and well permits within the state. If you are going to be drilling a well on the property, they are going to be the people that you would contact about getting permission to do that. Of course, if you have questions about costs of getting a well drilled out here, it's best to talk to local vendors. They, much more so than anyone in our offices, meaning me, can talk to you in much greater detail about potential costs, logistics, things to be aware of with such an endeavor. By the way, guys, I'd just like to point out to you, there are parts of New Mexico, particularly in the southern portion of the state, where I will see regions like this, where I see a bunch of home sites. Everybody's got a 5-acre lot. Everybody's living out here. Everybody's got what seems to be a nice home. It suggests to me that all of these people have some kind of city water, city sewers. That being said, research on this is not, it's surprisingly difficult to do. So when we look at all these home sites, we don't see water meters out here. That being said, we also don't see wells, okay? Obviously, these people are getting water in some way. I believe there's some kind of city utility out there. If you Google something like just Hagerman, like water utility Hagerman, if you Google water utility Lake Arthur, water utility Roswell, you find a bunch of different companies that come up. Not the easiest to get on the phone, number one, and also number two, most of them don't have formal websites. That being said, somehow people are getting water out here, and I fail to believe that all of these lots all have working wells. My guess is it's actually city utilities, but that's something that you will want to research before venturing into a purchase like this. Anyway, guys, with all that said, one more thing I just want to point out to you. This region of the state, not a lot of people are aware of this, but there's really a lot to do out here, more than you would at first imagine. So just want to point out to you a couple things. Number one, Bitter Lake National Wildlife Refuge is roughly about 20 minutes north of the subject property. So is the Bottomless Lake State Park. We actually have some pictures of these here in the photo gallery on this page. This is a little bit from Bitter Lake. You can see what it's like out here. Of course, some excellent opportunities for fishing out in this region. Really all throughout this southeastern portion of the state, there's a lot of water out here, Pecos River, etc. A lot of places that you can actually fish. Now, additionally, on the map, also want to point out to you that the property sits in relatively close proximity, number one, to those two attractions, as well as Carlsbad down here, about 45 minutes south. Of course, the Carlsbad Caverns are very close by. Brantley Lake State Park, another great place to go fishing, boating, etc. And then roughly about 90 minutes to the west, thank you, Cloudcroft over here, Ski Apache is in this area, Ruidoso Downs Racetrack and Casino is in this area, again, roughly about 90 minutes west. So a lot more to do out here than you would initially imagine. Of course, there's a lot going on in Roswell, a town of roughly 50,000 people is going to have a lot of attractions, etc. But it's not the middle of nowhere. You know, a lot of people think that about southeastern New Mexico, but that's in fact not the case. So anyway, just wanted to mention all that. If you guys are interested in purchasing this property, you should know that we closed on this with Landmark Title. That means we got title insurance. That means we'll be providing you with a warranty deed. So in order to initiate that process, just come up here, click the Buy Now button. It will take you to, yes, here it is, this secure checkout page where you can enter the $500. Guys, let me stress this, non-refundable earnest money deposit. Do not give us your money until such a time as you are absolutely certain that you do want to purchase this property. Once you do that, guys, we're going to ask you for some information, legal name for deed, tax address, so on and so forth. Agree to the terms of service. Click the next button, and on the next page, you can use your credit or debit card to put down that $500 earnest money deposit. Now, for the record, guys, for those of you who are not familiar with how we operate, when we get into a price point like $28,000, we encourage anybody who's going to give us that kind of money, let's close through a title company. If you don't know what a title company does, basically they're a third-party intermediary. They're going to handle the conveyance of the property as well as the disbursement of funds. So basically, we don't get your money until such a time as the land is in your name. It's one of the nice sort of peace of mind benefits to you, the buyer. Now, if you'd like to learn more about this process, guys, just come to the How It Works Buying From Us page. Here on our website, we got a page here that's just dedicated to kind of talking you through the buying process. You scroll down here, price point, $10,000 plus. That defines this property. You can read how the process works, but basically it goes a little something like this. You put down the $500, we draft a sale purchase agreement, you sign it, we submit it to the title company, and they do the rest. Title companies tend to work pretty slowly, 30, 45 days, they'll be done. But at the end of that, that's when they'll request the remainder of your money. That's when they'll have us sign a new deed, and that's when the property will be conveyed to you, and the money will be released to us. And for the record, guys, if you'd like to see what we're asking you to agree to, what you're going to be asked to sign prior to putting down the money, just click this link right here, and it'll give you a generic version of one of our standard sale purchase agreements. As you can see, it's pretty easy to understand. It's one page for signatures. If you have an attorney friend, you want him to review it, that's fine with us, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Anyway, guys, if I went too fast, if you have more questions about that, just review the Buying From Us How It Works page, and that'll answer all your questions. All right, guys, with all that said, I really like this property. This is another really nice one down here in the southeastern portion of the state. A lot of nice features. I hope you guys agree. If you have any questions, of course, shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com, or leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.